Former President Mahama says the private sector is excluded because it's voluntary for them.
Yeah, but it cannot be compulsory.
Yes, because if it cannot be compulsory,
it sound as if you can legislate these things.
You see, I read this statement to you.
You create an enabling environment. You engender it. You don't legislate it. Where in this world does it happen?
But that is
not even in China and Soviet Union.
But that is not what was said. You are trying to dress it up.
Whenever I say my PENDREAM TV there, I see them yopo.
Another populist merchandise put on our discussion table by the former president.
Okay.
Completely not a novelty. It's not an idea that can be wished into place. It's not an original idea. It's an idea that grows on something. And so one will wonder, where is the insertion, or what is the entrance, and on what basis is that coming in? It must come in on the basis of economy, right? So you must have an economy that has a capacity, okay? Then you undertake certain interventions to lead to that, right? So I am at a complete loss when this conversation is not about the economy, because you must have an economy to have a night one. So it's an economic conversation which has to do with production, okay, and the exchange or transaction in the economy. To want to say that let's expand the scope. It's about economic expansion. So it is not an idea you stand on a podium and say, oh, for me, I'll create a night economy. It's a complete, if you like, and I don't know, I don't know how to describe it, but it's just extremely unnecessary idea in the scheme of things, that you have to proceed from a certain premise, then you get to that. What the former president perhaps is avoiding, or perhaps he doesn't have the details at the time to tell us, and then probably just want to signal that he will expand the economy beyond just the regular daylight period, and then make it into the night. That he has a plan to support that, because to have a night economy is not a plan in of itself. It's a plan that is subject to a condition that exists. And so that's why when he made a statement, and Dr. Ahiagba said it was a game changer, I was flabbergasted. I'm looking at what did he understand by what the former president has said, to say that it's a game changer. What game is he changing? You must have an economy, or before you can be having a conversation like that. So I think that he reacted out of emotion, but he didn't consider the matter very critically. Because if you look at our economy, and you're saying that night economy is the game changer, I don't know what you're talking about. And by the way, we'll leave him. I think that I want to say clearly that, you know, it was an emotional response, and so we can spare him that. Otherwise, he should come and tell us what he understood by that, to say that it's a game changer. So that one is not an issue. Where we stand now, Senior,
you're suggesting that the TUC boss didn't understand what he was describing as a game changer?
Yes, because I don't see it. Okay. Because the point is that, what is the game changer he's talking about? What did the former president say to him, which we all heard, that says that to merely say a night economy or night 24-hour economy is a game changer? What? I'm sure he's an economist.
He's an economist.
Yes.
Did you watch the
full
full
engagement? So I want to have the conversation.
Did you watch the full engagement?
Yeah. No, I read the statement.
Because you see, there was a program. They engaged for hours. And so you must have watched the entire engagement to have heard and seen what he heard, on which basis he said what he said.
No problem, no problem. But the point is that He says the 24-hour economy is a game changer. Is that not the essence?
Yes.
That's the essence. And I'm saying that to say a 24-hour is a game changer, for an economist, I don't see where that comes from. But that is not the subject. Because really, it's not. But anyway, to even invalidate him, and then probably he's been ditched by the former president, by saying it's a game changer, and the former president now comes to say that it's a voluntary exercise, tells you that game changer has drowned. Because what is the night economy? Is it a government sector economy that the former president, because he says that the private sector is voluntary for them, right? Which is the case now. See now, if people are sitting at home and they will watch Good Morning Ghana all day, we can extend the morning, okay, to 11:59, right? We can extend morning to 11:59, but we close before that because we think that we have a certain window where people are watching in the morning. So Good Morning Ghana starts from here to there. We can start Good Morning Ghana at 5:30 if you want to, at 4:30 if you want to. But you know that at that time people are sleeping, they won't watch. So you make the voluntary decision to start it or not to start it, but you pick a time where you know you have your viewers. So the former president has come to tell us that it's voluntary.
So if we were to use Good Morning Ghana, watching Good Morning Ghana is voluntary.
Yeah. So let me finish. Let me finish.
Okay, please go on.
So the point is that the former president has undermined the statement 24-hour economy because now he says that it's voluntary, realizing that it is subject to the opportunities that are out there that as a business person, as a Good Morning Ghana, will open. We can't try to say because we have TV, we have mics before us, we have our workers can sit here, we'll screen our Good Morning Ghana 24/7. No. We'll target when people are watching, and that's when we'll screen the thing. And so that's the issue. Okay, that's exactly the issue. So the former president has now excluded the private sector. Now let's look at the public sector, which he now as the president will mandate that 24-hour economy happens in the public sector, because assuming all the private sector exclude themselves, what he has to control is the public sector. Is that not the case? So the public sector, the police, they operate 24 hours. The military, security service altogether, they operate. Hospitals, they operate 24 hours. What do we call hospitals operate 24 hours. The prisons operate 24 hours. The border control, the customs, they operate 24 hours. Any infrastructure, by definition, that is a necessity that must they operate 24 hours. But see, that does not necessarily lead to them increasing their numbers because they run 24 hours. The amount of people they deploy at night is minimal vis-a-vis what they would deploy in the day, or they shuffle their numbers, right? So they don't deploy 200 or 10 people, let's say the police service across the country in a day. They have in every charge office about 10 people across the country. In the nighttime, they don't have the same number, right? They reduce the number. So the fact that they run 24 hours does not necessarily mean that their numbers, they are just employing or recruiting police like that. Their recruitment is targeted to a certain expectation of production. So they do that. But if for a reason, okay, where Dr. Baromia was saying that you don't legislate that. If for a reason.
But has the flag bearer of the NDC said he was going to legislate a 24-hour economy?
But how
has he ever said that?
But he hasn't said that, but it cannot be implied from what he said, because he's going to be president. And if he made a promise that he will bring 24-hour economy, then he has to come and tell us. Until he tells us, these are the assumptions.
Have we legislated digitalization in Ghana?
No.
Is it legislated?
No, hold on. But you see, those are two different conversations.
Why?
Because digitalization...
Is it not a policy?
It's a policy.
Yes.
But it's a policy...
Must it be legislated before a government can decide that it will vigorously pursue a policy of digitalization?
But you see, it's a policy that...
Is it mandatory for any entity to adopt digitalization? Is it mandatory? Is anybody forced by law?
You are forced by economy to do it.
Yes.
You are forced by competition to do it.
Yes.
But the idea...
But that's not legislation.
No. Yes, it's not legislation.
Yes.
But when the presidential candidate said, when I come,
yes,
I'll bring
Yes.
a 24-hour economy.
Yes.
You are wondering how. But you have to, no, don't get too agitated about this.
Okay.
He must tell us how he's going to do it. Because all of us know there are templates that we have seen.
So ask him.
So, but he should have told us because now he's done as the disservice of assuming what is it you are going to. Somebody is here, but I've heard all the NDC people talk about what they think he's going to do, and it doesn't wash. Okay, so now effectively he says that there's no private sector, inclusion because he says it's voluntary for private sector. That's what he said. So he said it's voluntary. So that's aside. Now, what is not voluntary is the public sector. Because he didn't exclude them. So that one is not voluntary. So assuming he's going to legislate it, what is new he's going to do? The police and all the things that I've mentioned are all already doing that. So it's the civil service that is going to mandate to work 24 hours. Is that what we're looking at? So we make the civil service work 24 hours. So, okay, somebody goes to a civil service, and then from there it has to go somewhere. So everything just stays to open 24 hours.
Is there
for what production?
Is there a 24-hour economy anywhere?
You see,
anywhere outside Ghana? Is there, first of all,
Yeah.
is there a concept called 24-hour economy? Is there something like that?
There's an idea to extend the scope of economies beyond the daylight.
No, you're not answering my
hold
question.
on.
I'm asking you.
I will answer a question. Don't worry.
24-hour
don't worry. I will answer.
Yes.
If you
Does
just
it
allow me,
exist anywhere?
that will not answer. That you are rushing to the point.
Okay.
And even that what you know exists. I know what you're talking about. Even that is not what former President Mahama is promising, because per his statement, he has excluded what exists somewhere that you are referring to, which is a night economy.
I've not referred to anything.
Well, I know you know. But just wait. I will answer that question.
Yes.
But I'm trying to tell you that we are proceeding with this conversation from a basis where the private sector has been excluded.
Excluded in what way?
The former president says it's voluntary.
Yes.
Okay. So it means that they will have to determine to participate or not. And right now, if he has identified that there is a deficiency which is coming to cure with a 24-hour economy, then it means that the people are making rational decision, okay, out of it, because it doesn't give them the outcome. In terms of demand and supply, the market does not exist for them to run a 24-hour economy. You get what I'm saying? Because,
I don't.
Okay, so a private sector,
Yes.
which the former president has excluded, he sees that.
Excluded how?
He says it's voluntary for them. Didn't you hear that statement?
Yes.
Yeah, so it means that before he said the statement, when he made the announcement, he didn't exclude them. He said he wanted to break 24 hours. Now, when you analyze the thing later, I see that you cannot tell me to open my shop when I know that at 9 o'clock, the street where my shop is, people of foot traffic dries out from that place. Who am I opening for? So I will have to make that rational decision to open or not. Okay, so he realized that and said for them it's voluntary. Okay, now what is not voluntary is the public sector. And I want to know what 24-hour economy that does not exist in the public sector that the former president wants to bring.
Okay.
And that one is not there. But I want to show you something.
Please do.
You see, there is this 2013 document that was produced by, I think, the Institute of Economic Affairs.
2013.
I think it's 2013 or 2016, I think. Yeah. September 2016 is what I see here. The document actually assesses, Kenya tried to do this, right? They put together a national steering committee on 24-hour economy to assess if they can implement that
In Kenya.
in Kenya.
Okay.
Okay.
In 2016.
In 2016.
7 years ago.
Yes.
Okay.
And so that assessment, one of the recommendations were that by 2030, when Kenya achieves advanced economy status, then they may be in a position to implement that, but not now. Now,
What were the reasons that the research identified as the basis for Kenya not ready for a night economy?
I can give you the reports to read, but I'm just saying
I
that.
just wanted to understand so that I can draw parallels.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think this is here. I'll give it to you. I think
All
it's
right.
here.
Okay.
So you see, but this document here is a 2013 document. It's April 4, 2013 document by the Institute of Economic Affairs.
Ghana.
No, Kenya.
2013. 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
Okay.
And they were assessing the night economy or 24-hour economy. I'll read just a few things to you. And I'll give you the document, you can read that. But critical to that is that production is not an end in itself, because what you're talking about night economy, you're saying that there must be some production beyond daylight. And so that production would require inputs such as people, employments to give to people. So production is the key factor if you say night economy. Now, it says that production is not an end in itself, but it's undertaken purely to meet a demand that is real. That is a sort of fanciful demand that exists. So for a majority of businesses and workplaces in Kenya, the constraint is the size of the market, and that cannot be expanded by government declaration of 24-hour economy. And you understand that explanation to mean that the production, you can't just say let's produce, but we must produce on the basis that there's demand. And then if there's not demand, we can't just be producing because we want to. All right? The other thing is that a call for a 24-hour economy suggests that we merely need to add an input such as labor, which was what I was telling you before, into the equation to ensure growth. Okay? That may not be true for an industry where the output and input are finely matched, and therefore an increase of labor or other input means that the added resource do not produce a corresponding amount of benefit. So that at the point in an industry where, like here, where you have 2 guests and this is your table, okay, you cannot decide that, okay, well, because you want multiple views, you want to bring 4 people, right?
I will have to expand,
exactly.
change my set.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. So
it is possible.
No, the assumption, we're operating on the assumption to say that in an industry where input and output is paired, you cannot make that decision without taking other decisions. So the 24-hour economy cannot be an idea, okay, original to itself. There must be policies that gives it rise. So before you can say you want 4 people, you must expand here before you get to making that decision. That's the point this is saying. So therefore...
No, I must say that I will want multiple views. So I would want to have a panel of 4. The set as I have it cannot sit 4 persons.
Very well.
And so I will change the set to enable me have the multiple panels.
Exactly so.
Yes.
But the former president's announcement does not tell us what set he's changing, that he's changed the set. He just says that I'm bringing a 24-hour economy. And the economics is telling you that before you get to making that decision, you will have to change it, because merely by saying you want multiple views so you bring 4 people does not change your set, because your set is fixed at the time.
So why don't you ask the person for the mechanics in achieving it, rather than saying that it is not possible?
But the point is that right now, since after he said it,
yes,
Sami has spoken, people have spoken. They have not said this. They have not said that he's going to build the economy, because really the expansion of the set is the economy. So the proposal, you should ordinarily, that should be the entry point, that we're going to build the economy so much that it will run 24 hours. If you don't add that and say I'm bringing 24-hour economy, it's not complete. And so we cannot say that the former president is not minded.
Until I read Dr. Nimwe Thompson's statement, were you aware that the issue of a 24-hour economy was part of Ghana's 40-year development plan, and that the mechanics to achieve same are in that document? Are you aware?
But that's not strange. It's not strange.
It's not.
It's not strange.
Okay.
So it's not strange because it is not an idea exclusive to itself, an idea that will grow on something. Because if it was an idea that can come today, they would have done it, not put it in the 40-year plan. They would have started it long time before anything else was done. Because what I'm saying to you...
How?
But you see, you don't...
How?
Is
Dr. Baumia not telling us that he's coming with his own vision and that they should wait? He's coming with policies. Hasn't he been in office for 7 years already?
Yes.
Yes,
But what you said,
every year new things, every time new
no,
things
no,
come.
no. See that? You know what
No.
he said. What he said is that
Yes.
he's an independent person because as a vice president of the president, the assumption is that that's the campaign the NDC is doing, is to say that, oh, he's coming to continue what President Akufo-Addo is.
Yes.
Oh, see the challenges we are in, that's why. He's just letting you know, and he said this even when he made his delivery, his acceptance speech, that he is his own man. That's all that means. It doesn't mean anything else.
No.
But even if he says that he's bringing new policies,
Yes.
he has not set that policy. The day he will tell you that policy, he will tell you how that policy will be grounded. But this thing about 24-hour economy is not grounded on anything. And he's a lawyer. He will tell you that in their practice, they say you cannot put something on nothing. What is he putting the 24-hour economy on? It's on nothing. And by the way, see that, let's not cross the line backward. Let's go forward. Former President Mahama has drawn a line in that 24-hour economy to say that it is voluntary for private sector, which is the case now. The private sector chose not to do night economy.
But apart from taxes and levies, which government policy is mandatory, is legislated and is mandatory? Apart from taxes and levies.
But
what else is?
Yeah, wait.
Yeah, what else is?
Let me ask you a question. You
Yes.
don't answer a question, but let me ask
Yes.
you. Why do you think it was necessary for the former president to come back after he made the announcement to say that it's voluntary for private sector?
Because somebody said it cannot be legislated.
Yes.
Yes.
So how is it then going to cause it into being? If he said, I'll bring it, what is he going to do?
But I'm saying, I gave you the example of digitalization. If a government decides that, hold on. If a government decides that, look, we need to, just hold on. If a government decides that there ought to be a policy of digitization and digitalization. And in order to do that, we must provide the infrastructure. And so we are going to invest in fiber optic as a state. That policy, it is not binding on anybody. It's not mandatory.
Yeah.
But it is a policy that will engender
Okay.
private sector to take advantage of it, to embark on that part of digitization.
But he didn't say digitalization. He says, no, senior, please.
I have not said that. He said, why are you pretending you don't understand what I'm saying?
I understood what you were saying. but
I just use, you know why I use digitalization?
Yes.
Because
But it's not the same.
It is not a policy.
I'm saying that it's not compared to
No,
what
is it not a policy that the vice president wants to be credited for? Is it not?
Yes.
Is it legislated?
No, necessarily.
so what are we talking
but that is a policy that can stand on its own because there are infrastructure in the economy that allows for it. Because if you see digitalization, before it, people had problems carrying money up and down. So it solved the problem. Okay?
But infrastructure was created.
Now I'm saying yes. So
there was a vision.
Yes.
And that vision started with the creation of the infrastructure.
Very well.
And people are building on as we're going. The private sector is capitalizing on the provision of that infrastructure.
No problem.
It's not legislated.
But I'm saying that that problem of digitalization as a policy, whether legislated or not, was a problem, was a gap in the market that it came to fill.
Yes.
Okay. So if you say 24-hour economy is a gap, where is the gap? What gap is it? What gap is it? That your economy has the capacity to run 24/7. Wait, hold on. Your economy has a capacity to run 24/7, but it's been constricted to daylight. Then you would say that, look, we can run 24/7. When you saw the British conversation about 24-hour economy and whatnot, that economy inherently has that capacity. So we don't have that. So when you show up and say that, it can only be a populist recommendation, which should not be taken seriously.
If Vice President Bawumia says that it exists already, and he points, it says the 24-hour economy exists already, and he points to institutions that he says are already providing 24-hour service, but that obviously is not widespread. Does it not tell you that it is an economy that has a potential if it is properly planned, strategized, and dealt with? Because in the London conversation that they are having, just as we point to institutions and things that happen 24 hours, it happens in London. There are already 24-hour bank transactions. Hospitals run 24 hours. The security agencies run 24 hours already. Eateries run 24 hours already. Yet they are having a conversation about a 24-hour economy. Does it not tell you that per the existence of all the things that we are talking about, there is a huge potential, and that you need to focus and have a policy to make it work, make it vibrant? Does it not tell you that?
Yes. So you start that conversation
Yes.
from the economy. Because the conversation we're having today
Yes.
with an economy is that we need to build the economy. Which you have to build the economy. Ghana's economy requires building. A whole lot of structural reforms are going into it. You have not gotten that economy. And I told you about the Kenya situation. They said that until they achieve an advanced economic status, they cannot implement that. Sydney is doing the same thing. You have that document, right? Sydney is doing the same thing. But they are building on what a structure exists.
Okay.
And they took the city of Sydney because it has the capacity to contain that.
All right.
We do not have that.
Okay.
So you have to tell us the kind of economy you are going to build to support that.
All right.
Because 24-hour economy is not something that can drop from the sky. It is something that grows on something. It grows on demand and supply. It grows on production. Where is the production? Where is the policy that will give rise to that production, which then creates disposable income to the extent that people want to run 24/7. What is the inflow of tourism? What is our night infrastructure, night economy infrastructure? What is it like? You understand? And when they talk about night economy, in the Sydney example, they talk specifically about certain things. It has nothing to do with the public sector. Okay, very little. So in the public sector, it talks about hospitals and the rest. But the balance of night economy builds on entertainment, which is private sector, but yet, former President Mahama says the private sector is excluded because it's voluntary for them.
Yeah, but it cannot be compulsory.
Yes, because if it
Why
cannot
are you
be
making it
compulsory,
sound as if you can legislate these things?
you see, I read this statement to
You
you.
create an enabling environment. You engender it. You don't legislate it.
But
Where in this world does it happen?
But that is
not
not
even in China and Soviet Union.
But that is not what was said. You are trying to dress it up. And see, after the conversation has been had,
Yes.
I have listened to Sami. I have listened to Eduji. I've listened to many NDC people who have talked about this. They have not dressed up the issue. Former President Mahama can stand on the podium and say the thing. It is incumbent on them to put context to the thing. But they have not brought that context, which is what you are trying to do. The point is that you must build the economy in order to have a 24-hour economy. If you don't have economy, you can't have 24-hour economy. You begin from 8-hour economy to go to 24. You don't have a 24. Let's see your plan of a 24-hour, 8-hour economy.
So
then you can go
Sami,
to 24.
Sami, you heard Richard. He obviously agrees with his flag bearer. He says that we do not have an economy to build a 24-hour economy. So, as per the economy of Ghana, we cannot have a 24-hour economy.
That's not what we said.
Oh, that's not what you just said.
No. I'm saying that we want the former president's plan for the 8-hour economy. How he's going to sustain an 8-hour economy to go to 24-hour economy. But when you say you are bringing 24-hour economy, it's completely off base because that 24-hour economy builds on an existing economy.
So we don't have an existing economy?
No. He's saying that when he becomes president,
yes,
he will bring that.
Yes.
We want to see, because we have a record that he has in this country, that the 8-hour economy under him was abysmal.
Let me understand you.
Yes.
Are you saying that Ghana does not even have an 8-hour economy to build upon and create a 24-hour economy? Is that what you are saying?
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that former President Mahama has a record of economic management in this country, which we deem abysmal, on which basis he was voted out. Now, we want to see what is he going to do with the economy, the 8-hour he couldn't manage. Okay? Then now, not only 8-hour, he's telling us how to manage the 8-hour. He says he's going to bring 24 hours. And we're saying that the 24-hour economy is not independent of itself. It grows on the 8-hour economy. Okay? So before you can get that, you have to expand the 8-hour economy. What is his plan for the 8-hour economy? Which we don't have. Anyway, by the way, Dr. Adeboye Thompson is not an objective commentator, just for the point. He's an NDC leaning commentator, and that has to be put in context.
Right.